Okay, so yeah, I'm Kent McKenzie. You might have heard my name before. I worked at the Rice Experiment Station for the last 32 years and retired December 31st. I wasn't employed very long, and now I'm working to help the station bring the ROXY rice production system to the growers of California. It's a joint project between the foundation and Alba LLC, who is the producer of the chemical. You've probably heard a little bit about it, but I'll give you a kind of an update on that. So the ROXY trait is an induced mutant that provides tolerance to the post-patent herbicides, which will be marketed from Alba and is the oxyfluorphan herbicide. It was discovered at the Rice Experiment Station about in 2014. And it was discovered through mutation breeding in our most widely grown Calrose variety M206. It's been used in the breeding program. It's been back crossed to M206 and M210, as well as other breeding lines. And it's been tested by the university since 2017 there. The scientists at the station have showed it's controlled by a single recessive gene. They've determined what that gene is, and it is in fact a new mechanism for herbicide tolerance, not previously purported. We have a patent submission. The ROXY trademark has also been granted. In 6 years of research involving multiple locations, including those by the Rice Experiment Station, UC, and commercial contractors, it provides a high level of weed control, and it's also effective in a drill-seeded system with a post-plant pre-flood application, and would have possible applications in other areas. At the screen at the bottom, you can see a comparison of the 17Y3000 on the right, the seedlings, and that's Koshikari at M206 there in a greenhouse study. And over in the right is one of the field studies in a plot that you can see only the ROXY rice survived there. So the genetic research has been done by the lab there. I will mention the station, thanks to the support from the trust, has built a new genetics lab. They were able to figure out what this gene was and how it works. It has been in drill-seeded testing, and our most advanced lines are identified as Y3000 and Y4000. We also have long grain material there as well. And as I mentioned, they've been tested by the UC. So just some results from last year. The pictures on the right show you the Y3000 and 4000. These are advanced true breeding lines. One of these may become the first ROXY Calrose variety for California. You can see the results from the UC tests in the top comparing to M206. You can see the yields are essentially the same. Now, this is not a treated environment. This is all just conventional production, but you can see, as we'd expect, it's very similar to M206. Below is in the table at the bottom is a test at the Rice Experiment Station, again with comparisons of the varieties there as well, again showing the similarity. And in the yellow box is actually a replicated experiment done at the station where they had 2 pints of a pre-plant application of Alba 2023 on that. You can see in the bottom line that the M206 is not well adapted to having the herbicide, with the yield reduced almost in half. The breeding program, of course, is always looking for the future. And here, just a little picture of some of the breeding lines they developed using other parents. These are all Calrose medium grains, and you can see them compared to the 2 advanced lines. And there looks like we have some yield advantage, and that's what you expect from the breeding station to develop improved varieties. So that might be something for the future. I should mention that's Dr. Ndaya there, who is doing the work and has brought this material forward. Just a picture of some of the drilled plots. The basins in the middle, the 2 dark green ones, all had 2 pints per acre pre-plant applications. In the front was an experiment where we did different rates indicated with the white letters of a pre-plant oxyfluorphan. And also you can see the different tolerant varieties, and then again, the holes, which would be the susceptible M206 variety. So Alba has, in addition to supporting the project and becoming a partner and a contracted partner with the Rice Experiment Station, has been paying for efficacy testing with private contractors as well as the UC. So there's a listing there. Bucra and Colusa County Farm Supply have tested for a number of years, and Grow West and Wilbur Ellis more recently. And of course, Kasim has mentioned he's worked at this as well. Observed in all these sites, you can see some pictures below that we are getting very good broad spectrum weed control with a pre-plant emergence there as well. Even at Hamilton Road this year, we did a small experiment, and it was actually very effective in controlling weeds that had already emerged at a young stage there. So I have a few slides here just to show some of the rate studies. The first one is done by Grow West. It was done in a grower field in Colusa County. If you see the columns on the right, there are their rankings for the control of the weeds. Very good control for duck salad, sprangletop, and red stem that were in this field. You can see rates and combinations there as well. One of the traits of this is that there is a delay in emergence. So they were evaluating the reduction in delay on a percentage there as well. This is something we're researching to find the optimum rate. And you'll see that delay increases as the rate of the material goes up. Here's another slide from the Bucra in Butte County. Again, Bucra's tested for many years. Again, early watergrass through Arrowhead, we got very good control with the pre-plant emergence on that. And then finally, Colusa County Farm Supply has done several tests for us. Here you can see that, again, they got good control. It went up a little bit as the rates went up, and in combinations, the yields actually were excellent in that area as well. And we also had a larger basin that was treated and only had one application, and that is shown in the table at the bottom, which looked quite promising on that scale. At the Rice Experiment Station, we've also been looking at some drill-seeded tests. This is something we can do at the Rice Experiment Station. And we've known this program would work very well in drill-seeded rice. And simply put, there's a picture of the experiment there. We got complete weed control in our drill-seeded system with these applications. In this case, we had both a pre-plant application, ALB 2023, and a post-emergence application there as well. And then I think my last experiment here, which was quite interesting, is we think there's some opportunities for the ROXY rice production system to help in weedy red rice control. Seen some information in the greenhouse that shows it might work. So to do an experiment here, what we did is mix seed of a susceptible variety. In this case, it was Koshikari with two varieties that are tolerant, the 18P4116 and the 17Y3000 and M206. And we use the Koshikari because we're not going to bring red rice onto the station, but it's a tall, visible, susceptible variety from there as well. And we looked at that experiment, and you can see it's there as well. What we found, interestingly, and if you look in the picture on the right, there's a visual from the drone picture, is that there was a little bit of emergence in the M206 fields that had Koshikari mixed in it, but there was no Koshikari found in any of the plots of the tolerant varieties. So in this drill seed experiment, it looked like that no Koshikari plants were able to compete with the resistant variety, as well as no weeds in the experiment, where on the picture on the right, you can see that, yeah, with no tolerant variety there was some M206 that emerged, and you can see the taller Koshikari plants flowering late, as well as some Sprangletop and rice field bulrush. So this is a little bit encouraging. We'll look at it again next year as maybe at least a tool that might help us address weedy red rice with the ROXY rice production system. So the system there, which what it'll be known as is the ROXY rice production system. It is a pre-plant application for early weed control. It's a group 14 herbicide, as Kasim mentioned. And so far, we don't have resistance to these PPO herbicides. It should provide enhanced herbicide performance, maybe address resistant weeds and value. And we hope that it will provide help for weedy red rice. It is driven by a patent pending trait. It will be branded herbicides through Alba exclusively. It's in our CalRose background, and it will follow a strict industry stewardship program. EPA submission is scheduled for this quarter this year, and we're asking for concurrent review by the California Department of Pesticide Regulation. There will be, hopefully, innovation tours and a rice field day this summer, and the launch target is 2023. How am I doing on time?
You got 2 minutes.
Okay, well, I'm through.
Great. So there's a question on the Q&A, and it's
Okay.
what types of weeds were tested in the weed control aspect of ROXY. So I think the question is what is the
what type of weeds were tested in weed control aspects? They've been tested in various fields. Some fields have resistant grasses. Some have bucca, that particularly. Other areas had more pressures with rice field bulrush, certainly is big at the station. Sprangletop on that. So yeah, a kind of variety of weeds have been included, and that's the multi-location testing. Second question, could ROXY work with the leather system? Yeah, I didn't have time to present that. We did a little study at the station last year to look at a leather system. It will work. One of the options was providing a late application in your leather system when you drain your field. You would just put the oxyfluorocarbon on then. That probably is not a good solution. That was very toxic on all the rice. But yeah, it would work in a leather system. But I will add, as Kasim points out, weed control and water depth work together. And if you can keep a flood on, I think in general, you'll get better weed control. That's a non-weed scientist's comment.